You're home on a quiet California night. A dog barks 2 streets over. Somewhere in the dark, a man you'll never notice is learning your routine. He knows which window sticks. For years, he was a shadow with many names. By the end of this story, that shadow has a face. Stay with me, because a single strand of DNA will pull him into the light, and it will change how America solves cold cases. Before Golden State Killer, there were separate headlines, separate maps and binders. Mid-1970s, Visalia. Neighbors whisper about a careful prowler. The press calls him the Visalia Ransacker. A 1976-1978 Sacramento suburbs, late-night home invasions escalate. People add locks and change routines. Farther south, late 70s into the 80s, headlines use original Night Stalker, different names for a pattern that feels the same. Across counties, details repeat like fingerprints. Cut phone lines and pre-staged exits. He parked away from scenes and slipped through fences. He watched for days before a single move. Detectives filled binders with shoe prints and fibers. Maps marked canals, cul-de-sacs and bike paths. Task forces formed and fractured as leads cooled. Computers didn't talk then, people did. The fear lived in ordinary places. Porch lights, sliding doors, backyard gates. It taught neighborhoods to double-check everything. And still, the shadow stayed one step ahead. Then science drew a line across time. In 2001, DNA linked attacks miles and years apart. Suddenly, the scatter looked like a trail. 2 nicknames collapsed into one story. The case needed focus and a name the public would remember. In 2013, Golden State Killer stuck. Attention sharpened, tips surged, and evidence was retested. But the profile had no match in police databases. Investigators stared at a powerful clue without a name. DNA is a key, but only if you find the right lock. So they tried a new door, public genealogy, the kind people use to find distant cousins. They uploaded the crime scene profile to an open database. Distant matches flickered on a screen. Not close family, cousins twice removed, but enough to sketch the edges of a tree. A small team became historians and detectives at once. Birth records, marriages, addresses, and ages that fit. They pruned branches that didn't match timelines. They followed others toward one state, one city, one street. One name rose on the list, Joseph James DeAngelo, a former police officer who lived near early attack zones. Surveillance began quietly. No headlines this time. Investigators collected what he threw away. The lab compared DNA from discarded items to the old profile. The result wasn't close. It was exact. The shadow finally cast the same outline twice. April 2018, Citrus Heights. Unmarked cars eased into a quiet block. A man in his 70s stepped outside. A pair of handcuffs clicked after 40 years of questions. Courtrooms filled with survivors and families. Statements were calm, brave, and clear. In 2020, he pled guilty to 13 murders and 13 kidnappings. He admitted to many other attacks the law could no longer charge. Multiple life sentences followed without the possibility of parole. The record at last had a name and a timeline. There was no victory lap, only careful, respectful closure. Facts first, people first. What made him hard to catch wasn't magic. It was patience weaponized. He watched, rehearsed, and controlled time. He understood how silence can cut a house in half. What caught him was a different patience. Decades of preserved evidence and careful chain of custody. Detectives who shared files across invisible borders. Scientists who turned molecules into maps. Genealogy didn't replace police work. It focused it like a lens. DNA drew a circle. Real-world investigation stepped inside it. Privacy questions entered the conversation. What belongs in public and what needs consent. Courts and companies wrote rules in real time. Guardrails rose around a powerful new tool. The method spread to other cold cases. Slowly, carefully, with warrants and oversight. Each success required restraint as much as innovation. Because justice without trust isn't justice for long. Why this story hooks the country is simple. It lived where we live. Porch lights, bedside phones, the habit of cracking a window at night. It bent a neighborhood's sense of safety, and years later, science bent it back. There's a myth that big cases hinge on one perfect clue. The truth is a stack of imperfect ones, kept safe and read well. A shoe print that didn't get tossed. A fiber sealed correctly. A family that told its story again and again until someone listened. If you dive deeper, start with verified timelines and court records. Separate rumor from record. We avoid graphic detail here. We keep the focus on people, not spectacle. The Golden State Killer case is about time, science, and shared work. About counties learning to compare notes. About a nickname that gathered attention. And a family tree that found a name. Every cold box pulled from a shelf owes something to this file. It proved that time can be an ally, not just an enemy. A molecule became a witness that never forgot. A map that didn't fade when memory did. If careful, fact-first storytelling is your thing, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe and keep watching. Next up, another case where a small clue changed the rules for the rest of us.